Hello, welcome back. Sonda here, bringing you guys another audio commentary. And this is, I'm not advertising for the company, just don't have another banner and don't really want to spend the time getting one made, or I don't even know anyone who could make it, and I definitely am not going to give it a try because it would look quite ugly. But with that being said, welcome back for another commentary. Spawning in the top left is MouzMana playing for Mouse Esports, top team that has thrown together one sexy StarCraft 2 lineup. Spawning in the bottom right is pwRelfi, so pwRelfi, something along the lines. But PW is actually just the clan. I'm not sure who else they have in the clan, but I remember hearing PW as a clan. This is actually a game from the Black Dragon League, which is quite interesting because the Black Dragon League, there's quite a bit of money on the line, about 6,000 euros, I want to say, which is roughly about, what would that be? $7,500 US dollars. So there is quite a large chunk of money on the line, and that's exactly why we have a ton of strong European players on it. But nonetheless, this is some PvP action on Zalmaga Caverns. Or not, whoa, this isn't Zalmaga Caverns, excuse me, that's game 2, I think. On Jungle Basin here, pwRelfi spawning in the bottom right, and MouzMana spawning in the top left. And you can already see the gateways going down for both players. And alongside an early assimilator for our friend pwRelfi a little bit later for our opponent MouzMana. But PvP, a very interesting matchup. The hidden gateway might just throw his opponent off for a second, thinking it's a proxy. Putting the gateways back here is a good idea, though, because if you do pace early pressure, you don't take the risk of losing the pylon or even losing a gateway, and then that can just turn into a terrible situation. But PvP, a very micro-orientated build. The metagame is definitely favoring 4-gate, and especially on a map like this, you can abuse it. You can put a pylon here, warp in. You can even put a pylon here, warp in. So anything fast expansion would probably be a little bit silly. I'm expecting 4 gates across the board, just because of the abusive space on this map. Maybe 3-gate Blink Stalker, but anything with a robo play could be a bit dangerous, especially like a 2-gate robo build. Don't think it would really play in the favor of the player 2-gating. But with that being said, it does look like we have a Cybernetics core coming in for both players. Second gas already up for pwRelfi, hasn't quite been starting for Mana. This will allow you can do it either with 1 gas or 2 gas. Obviously, if you do have the 2 gas, you can throw in a few more Stalkers or provide a few more rotations of Stalkers. But it looks like the warp gate already being researched. PW for pwRelfi, so this is going to give Mana getting a nice look at this with the scouting probe. Definitely seeing that getting chrono boosted. Already has a second gateway going down. He's got to be thinking he's going against the 4-gate. Already throwing his second gateway down, chrono basing his first Stalker as well as warp gate to go ahead and get that probe eliminated. So then both of the players can probably throw down the additional 2 gateways. Look like both players have kept their SC probes alive, doing a nice job, but they will be pushed out here in a second as soon as that Stalker does redirect. Looks like a 3rd gateway going down for Mana. Will we see a 4th? We just might. Probably will as soon as he gets those minerals. Take a look at pwRelfi's base. Does look like he has the 3rd spawning up at the top, continuing to produce a lot of Stalkers here. So both players are really going to put it to the micro. There goes the 4th gateway for Mana. And will we see the 4th for pwRelfi? We definitely should. Yes, we do. So similar builds across the board. Both players 4-gating. A little bit different timings, but the big part is right here on your screen. 20 Harvesters versus 20 Harvesters. Completely identical across the board. And this is actually a best out of 3. Forgot to say it. Believe it is. I know you can veto the maps in this, and then I believe it's a you do pick the 3 maps, and you kind of pick the order. So it's a little different than loser picks. You veto maps until you get down to 3, and then whoever wins the flip, or whoever wins the coin flip, can go ahead and choose in what order or something like it, something along those lines. But just know that this is a best out of 3. Does look like Mana has forced out 1 more probe. Generally, you see 20, 21, 22. One of those numbers is generally when they get it cut. But does look like our friend pwRelfi has grabbed that sentry, which makes me think he's going to play a bit more defensive for the time being. Now Mana finally going that 2nd gas and finally getting a robotics facility as well. Maybe going to transition out, realizing that this is going to be very hard to get up, especially with the scouting Stalker going around, checking around, making sure there are no proxy pylons over here or over behind these rocks, making sure that he will not get cheesed for a loss. Looks like he's going to go ahead and throw down a Twilight Council. Probably going to see Blink come out of this with the number of Stalkers he does have. The early second gas does allow him to get that early sentry out, and that's exactly why you're seeing it come into play. So taking a quick look at the units tab, wrong tab, 2 Zealots and 3 Stalkers and 1 Sentry out for mana, and 6 Stalkers and 1 Sentry. So definitely Relfi focusing on a Stalker heavy build. So I would expect that Twilight Council as soon as it pops to go ahead and start researching Blink, possibly DTs, but I don't think we will see DTs. Observer about a halfway out for our friend Mana here, and he should send that Observer as soon as it pops to his opponent's base. Get it, and both players fighting over the towers just a little bit, but Mana's Stalker will prove superior to the probe from Relfi. Does look like the Stargate has, or does look like the Twilight Council has started. He is actually, okay, I thought that was a Dark Shrine for a second, but looks like he has started Blink as well, so he's going to continue. There are a lot of abusive plays for Blink Stalkers. I really do like the play from Relfi here. You can Blink in here, and then if you get an, and then when they come over here, you can run up here, and then when you get an Observer, they think you're coming here, so you can go ahead and go down here and Blink in and even pick off this row, but pick off these pylons, put some pressure on the gas, maybe get a probe killer too. So I do like the tech option here for Mana, or for Relfi. Just how good will the defense be here from Mana? We'll just have to wait and see. He is a very, very, very strong player. Have seen a lot of his PvP and PvZ. Haven't seen too much of his PvP, but he is indeed going for an expansion as well as a robotics bay. He's going to be a bit thin on units for the time being, and that's a load of Stalkers. How much pressure will they be able to put out? I would like to maybe see an Immortal as soon as he sees these Blink Stalkers, as soon as he sees the Twilight Council. He is probably going to go ahead and try to do that. Looks like a pylon going down for our friend Relfi, but he has an Observer right there, so he knows exactly what his opponent's trying to do. Now he's getting a nice look. Let's take a quick look at Mana's camera. Does indeed know there is a Twilight Council, so he knows exactly what he's going against. Now he's going to go ahead and check the expansion, realize there is no expansion, or he's going to realize that Relfi is just putting one up, so he knows a load of Blink Stalkers are in his base, and now he definitely knows because they have blinked in and they are targeting the natural nexus. The reinforcements definitely way below. Probably going to see this be canceled here. Will we see it be canceled? Yes, we will. So a little bit of a mineral loss, but it's better than not canceling it and losing the full 400. Blinking back, has a load of Stalkers. Mana in a very, very defensive situation. Really can't push out until he gets to that Colossus. Looks like the robotics bay is up. Not one Colossi on the way as of yet. Looks like a huge encounter though. Blinking up the ramp here. How much pressure will be able to put on? Mana defending quite, or wow, no, Mana is definitely not defending this. Looks like there are still a number of Stalkers alive. If he uses this Blink to the fullest of potential, he should be able to continue damage, but there are a number of Zealots, and those Zealots were getting right up on those Stalkers and dealing a lot of damage. Now he's able to Blink back out. A little bit of a misblink for the time being, but finally blinking out, and now he's going to be able to continue pressure on the front door. You can actually go up this ramp and Blink back the hurt one. Force Field doesn't really play a role in this. Now the Zealots just coming in a little carelessly for Mana, and Zealots are not going to be too good against Blink Stalkers, and he's losing a lot of Zealots, and they're barely doing any damage. But more importantly for him, he does have that Colossus on the way, but he might just lose the game before that Colossi comes out. Relfi might just indeed steal game 1 off of his opponent. Mana definitely very, very low on the Stalker count. Quick look at the income tab. We do have 30 over 24 in the favor of Mana, but I don't think he's gonna be able to hold. Yes, whoa, he needs to blink for it. He needs to snipe this Colossi as soon as possible, and yes, he does. The Colossus falls, and with that, Mana is forced to GG. Game 1 is quick and dirty win for Relfi. What will we see in game 2? Please stay tuned. This is Sunday officially signing out.